play along. We have some great gifts, some laugh gear, and a limited edition Fame Week tee. Stegosaurus tee, as you can see, it's the one that Corey's wearing right now. Let me just tell you really quickly before we go to Corey, I want to tell you a little bit about him. Corey Drake is one of this year's inductees. He is a technical artist. He's a computer animation graduate from 2010. His credits include Disney Imagineering, NBA 2000, Captain America First Avenger. Corey is a modern day puppet master. His job as a technical artist is part visual innovator and part technical programmer. Corey lends his artistry to film productions, video games, and even robotics. And at this point, I'm going to let Corey do our takeover.
All right. Thank you very much, Cecilia. Hi, everybody. I'm Corey Drake. I have nothing more to introduce about myself that was not covered in that fine introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. We are learning about Node-RED today. What is Node-RED? It is a easy-to-program interface for... Actually, I'm going to pause right there because as I've been viewing the stream on my phone, it looks like it went... I believe we are no longer live. Can anybody in the chat confirm that? I hate to pause it this way, but I don't think that we're live based on what the view is describing on my phone here. Cecilia, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you, and I've got Miss Whitney Braid saying, and Michaela 36, we can hear you. Yep, you're live.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that that was the case. I actually don't see chat in my Streamlabs, oddly enough.
Ben Howard just joined us, and he said we're live.
Okay.
And Ben Howard is one of our alumni. I'll let you take it over.
Okay, great. So Node-RED is a very simple interface for connecting essentially anything to anything else. If you have ever heard of Arduino or Raspberry Pi, these are microcontrollers that I often use. And things like Hue lights, a specific brand of lights that will change color based on an app. It's all this ecosystem of Internet of Things. And a lot of times these ecosystems are kind of a walled garden. You'll be able to have control with your Hue lights to connect with maybe Alexa or things like that. But it all has to be programmed by the people providing those services. What Node-RED lets you do is create nodes based on any API that a program might have, and then you can cross-communicate between them very easily, and oftentimes without any programming. And that's what we're going to go over today. But to start, I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction about the things that I do. Primarily, I am a technical artist, which means if you look at my page here, I do a lot of rigging and programming tools for animation, but I also consider myself a generalist. I like to model, I like to sculpt and animate and things like that. Specifically with Node-RED, I got into this when I was at Imagineering. We used it in not in the parks, but in an R&D sense to test things out, get presentations together and things like that. And I use it a lot for Dungeons and Dragons, actually. If anybody's familiar with D&D, it's a pen and paper game. You're generally sitting around a table rolling dice with stats and things like that, maybe playing with figures on the table. But when I do D&D, I do a lot of physical things. I might at one point say, okay, everybody go outside. I have this Survivor-style wood maze puzzle for you guys to do. And one of the things I do is have kind of little shows that happen. They might come across, in particular this video, was kind of a... This is a video for the... That was very loud. This is a tiki bar that I built in my previous house, and what it has is a bunch of different lights and controllable by an RFID reader. These little statues that I made out of clay. Here we go. Originally they were clay, and then I molded them. So these are plastic with an RFID tag embedded in them. If you don't know what RFID is, think about the badges that you scan to get into the school. Those are either RFID or NFC. Basically, you put it up to it, it has an electromagnetic field, and it reads a signal from that. And I actually have that here and set up. From that video that is playing right now, I have this little box. We'll see how far the cord will reach. If you can see it in the video, I'll do it in the middle camera. It has this little RFID reader inside of here, and then the Arduino just sits right here and communicates via Wi-Fi to whatever I want to program. And so we will be learning how to program that in Node-RED later in the presentation. Hey, I'm doing exactly the same thing in the video that's playing right now that I just did in real life. Some of the other interesting things I do is connecting Node-RED to Unity. So Unity is a game engine where you typically create games for apps or computer and things like that. Well, you can communicate through what's called UDP. It's a protocol for sending data over a network. And in this particular case, I used it for controlling a bunch of DMX lights. So normally, and this is a little bit cringy, but this is, it's for a drunk audience of 5 or so. But I put together this song and dance number when they found this kind of circus guy that was part of one of the players' backstories. He sang a whole song about them, and I had DMX lighting animated from Unity to track me in the scene, and I could actually play these in real time to track me. So you can see that spotlight coming across. That's all controlled from Unity, transferred through Node-RED and into the DMX controllers. And then in this particular one, side note, I actually hired dancers to come in without their knowledge. They were hiding outside the doors this whole time. And that was a real surprise when they came in. It took a lot of coordination to figure that out, but it was a lot of fun. And we didn't do any rehearsing. It was all just over email. So you can see we're kind of in each other's way right there because we had never practiced this physically. But it turned out really fun, and they really enjoyed it. And all powered by Node-RED. Here's another example. They came across a magician, so I did like a silly magic show. And this is actually Node-RED communicating with a Raspberry Pi to play video from a projector. And then it was kind of like he was stuck in ice, so I did this all in After Effects. I just put, he's touching the ice and doing kind of funny things with that. And then at certain points, you can see that the lights are changing and the motorized lights around there are moving in coordination with everything. And what's really great about Node-RED is I can trigger it from anywhere that has a browser. So I can actually pull the Node-RED screen up on my phone and connect. And that's what I was doing behind there to start the show. I was just sitting behind that screen ready, and then I pressed the button on my phone. It's super easy to do all sorts of things like that wherever you are. And this one's particularly interesting. This started as a 24-hour game dev marathon. I built this game of a dragon who walks around.
I've hit all the major features that I want.
Sorry about that. That was loud. So the dragon runs around, and then the Twitch chat, there's a node that will actually bring in chat from Twitch and let you interact in Node-RED with that. And then that was piped into Unity to do fun things like this next video. I really wish that I could start the videos with no sound. There we go. So I actually had somebody raid my channel with Party of 5 that created a boss monster and a bunch of minions depending on how many people they were raiding with. And so this was kind of a prototype for a game that would let you interact with chat, and the chat could type in, like, I want to make a cactus with a hat named so-and-so. And so that was a lot of fun. I didn't move too far on that, but it was just a little prototype that I made that was a lot of fun. So while we're at it, I have a little bit of documentation here talking about how to do it. So if you are interested in doing this yourself, you can just go to stegosaurus.com. Stegosaurus is a character from a video game that I made back in 2013, and I kind of use it as my brand or logo and things like that, just my website or blog that has a bunch of information about these things. And specifically, I wanted to make a note about Stegosaurus because one of the things that I was selected for the Spotlight Awards was because of my collaboration with the Alumni Association way back in 2012 or 2013. I was actually looking for somebody to do music for my game. I was making just a silly app. It was called Ice Escape Stegosaurus Rescue, and I actually found an old folder with all of all of my planning for it. So when I was testing with people, we would go in and test the game, and I made 100 levels. It was a free game, didn't have any ads or anything, and just all kinds of notes here that I could write to say how difficult the level was, and that was a really fun process, but I needed music for the game. So I went to a networking event that the Alumni Association was putting on, and I met somebody named Jesse August Jennings, who made some really great music for me. I'll play a little bit of it here. Starts off so loud. So this is the trailer for it, and it's a simple game. It's you just swipe to move a certain direction, and you don't stop until you hit a wall because you're sliding on ice. And one of the things, as I said, about being selected for the Spotlight Awards is the time that I collaborated with him on that, and that's one of the things that really kind of drives the performance, or not the performance, but the presentation today, is collaboration as a theme. So what we are actually doing today, if you look behind me, is the chat, as I mentioned with Twitch chat, is to use the Twitch chat to make these monsters battle, kind of like a Godzilla type battle scene amongst the hills of Hollywood in front of major landmarks. You can see the school there. And I'm going to show you the basics of how to create all of the types of nodes that went into creating the gameplay for this, and then I'm going to go over the gameplay itself, and then we're actually going to get to play it. So I'll show you the actual gameplay. So this may look a little bit complicated. I promise by the end of this, you may not find it complicated, hopefully, if I do my job right. Oh, I'm not showing the right screen. Strike number 1. So this is Node Red. It is a node-based programming system, so you can do this without any programming. In certain places there is programming, and I'm not going to go too deep into that, but what it means is you can do things very simply, but also get really into the nitty-gritty of controlling things with code if you're comfortable with that. So before I start, there's going to be a couple audio cues in here, some music, and I'm going to go over the licensing for that real quick. I think everybody knows about Kevin MacLeod, amazing music, and he gives them all out for free, royalty free, under Creative Commons. So this is Ropocalypse 2. This is Neon Laser Horizon. These will be playing later on, so credit where credit is due. Thank you, Kevin MacLeod, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. MacLeod or MacLeod. So let's start with something very simple, a debug node. Like any programming concept, we start with a hello world. How do we print something to the screen? On the right side of my screen, you're going to see that I have this debug menu here, and connecting something to something is as easy as dragging from one node to the other. If you're in the animation group, you are going to be pretty familiar with node-based creation of things, whether you use Nuke or Unreal. Even now Unity has their material system that uses nodes. And I'm going to hit the deploy button. And basically this is just something that I can click from Node Red, and then this, the green one, will put it into the debug. So it did message.payload number. It's the timestamp. We make something a little more interesting by saying, instead of timestamp, do a string. We'll do a hello world. Deploy again. Hello world. We got a little error there about connecting to the Twitch chat. I think it's probably fine if I go up to my existing setup. We are connected with LAFS chat. And this is a perfect opportunity to show how to connect something like Twitch chat to Node Red. So I'm going to scroll down. These are all the nodes that you have installed on your computer, and you can install all kinds of nodes. You can just do a search. If it's something that's relatively popular, it probably exists. And in this case, Twitch chat, we can bring in this node called chat. We'll configure this. It is already configured because I've already made it, but if you didn't have it configured, there's kind of some documentation on, you have to log in with your username and a authorization token, which I won't go over here because it's kind of boring, but you can just look that up if you are here and doing this. I'm going to connect the chat output to my debug. So now we have both the Hello World button and the Twitch chat. I'm going to deploy that. And I don't actually have the chat anywhere up on my screen, but would somebody kindly chat in Twitch? And we'll see if it shows up. Hey, we have testing from, we have hello, we have battle. Wow, yeah, we got a lot of people chatting. So if I open this up, you're going to see a lot of data that might not make sense immediately. But we have an object that is saying from the channel Los Angeles Film School, and then inside a username, we have a lot of information. This particular person is named Azure Pyro. I don't know, Azure? I don't know how to pronounce that color, actually. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud. So we're going to be using that information later, because one of the key things about the battle is collaboration. Like I mentioned with Jesse, we have artist work printed out on cardstock, and I have glued little fasteners, and then these are going to be battling one-on-one among this backdrop according to your votes. So if I bring up that screen, you're going to see on the left side, the cloud is behind the Capitol Records building, but there's an icon of a cloud, an icon of fire. The way that you are going to vote is by typing storm or fire, and that will move one of the characters along the length of the battlefield. I don't have that set up yet. We are going to connect that later once I click this fight button, but we are not quite there yet. We're going to learn a few more basics. So we have chat coming into debug. That's great. We know that chat's working, but let's do something interesting where you can actually affect things. I showed you the RFID that allows you to place an RFID token to change the colors of the hue lights. And I've kind of pre-baked this one like a cooking show. When I stream, I have a lot of different commands. People can hit me with a sword, shoot me with a Nerf gun, shoot smoke in my face, and things like that. And the way that I do that is with a switch node. So here is our LAFS chat, and I already have it connected to a node called chat switch. It is simply named chat switch. The type of switch it is, or the type of node it is a switch. So switch means that it's going to say a lot of different logic. So if you notice in the debugs here, I don't understand why it's called reason, but when it comes in from Twitch chat, we have our object that contains reason, and in particular, this message, art from our animation students, is just the chat that you sent. So that is our reason. So by saying property message.payload.reason, we can operate on that information. And there's a lot of different things we can operate on. We can say if it equals this, if it has a key, if it's between, if it's null, if it's false, all kinds of things that we can check. But in this case, we are just checking if it contains, and I have typed out Avenclaw and Ufflepuff and Gryffindor. The reason I have left the first letter out of these is a quick way to allow us to ignore the case. There's probably better ways to ignore case here, but in this particular case, I am just listening for those. So one of the things that my Twitch chat does is they can type their favorite Hogwarts house to change the lights behind me to what they want to do. So just like the debug one, I'm going to connect the outputs of this switcher to our 4 houses and deploy. And now if you will kindly type in your favorite Hogwarts house, and we'll see if the lights start changing. There we go. Got a Ravenclaw, a Slytherin. Another Slytherin. So as you can see, the lights are changing. It might be more obvious if I put it onto my screen. Yeah, you can actually see the specific light in the background. I think it's yellow right now, yeah, for Hufflepuff. So as you can see, it's super easy just to take a little bit of information from the Twitch chat. The Twitch chat exposes so much. It'll let you get followers, it'll let you get raids, donations, all kinds of things you can operate on. And in this particular case, we are just operating on the text, and as easy as that, we're just dragging it into what we want. So another question might be, how did I get to this point where I have the Hue lights working? I'm not going to go over that in this video, but basically I set up all these patterns in the Hue app, and then by connecting the API through, it's kind of a process where you press the button on the machine, the actual hub. It comes with a hub that you connect to your Wi-Fi router, and then you kind of hold that down and you kind of get a code from it. It's a little bit tough process the first time. You just read the documentation and follow the instructions. It's pretty easy. And then this is how I did those RFIDs. So I don't want to get up and down. Actually, I do, but I have to take off my headset to do it. I will be right back. So I'm really stoked about these statues. I made them out of clay, but then I molded them. So it's a process of, here is a different mold. It's a process of taking the original and then putting it in a container and then pouring this silicone all over it. And then you get the inverse of that shape. This is for a different model, but then you can pour resin into that shape and get a complete exact copy. Like, it's so detailed. If you had some heavy fingerprints on the clay, those fingerprints would get picked up. So this is the Slytherin one. And what I did was when I poured it, I actually put the RFID tag, it's a little card, inside of it just as it was done pouring, so it solidified around it. So then when this is placed onto the RFID reader, that Arduino is reading this number. This particular one would be this number here. And that was just through guess and check. I would put it on, it would print it out with the debug, and then I was able to program it to say, okay, with that information that I got from the debug, change the color based on the light. So this is the Slytherin one. It's the Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. And Ravenclaw. And so I'm not going to get up and down, and you can just believe that it works. It all works over Wi-Fi because each of the Arduino modules that I'm using has built-in Wi-Fi, and so I can really easily connect to things and just plug it in and forget about it. And I want to show you something. So I have this node here called Old Chat Parser. So before I really learned anything about Node Red, I just kind of used functions for everything, which ironically is a little bit harder because I'm actually programming JavaScript, but I didn't really take the time to learn what is a switch, what is a change. These are nodes that do things in code. But I was doing, originally when I set this up, actual code to set that, and that's one of the things that's really powerful about this. These here, on the Twitch chat, I had people do exclamation mark Slytherin, exclamation mark Ravenclaw, and then I defined these values in JavaScript, and I say if the input equals eagle for Ravenclaw, then we spit out a list, and then this list corresponds to these little dots right here. So it would spit out everything at once, but it would spit out a null, and then the message that we wanted for that. Kind of a more complicated way to do exactly what we did here, but it shows that you can do really powerful stuff. In this case, I didn't need this to be able to do this functionality, but as you'll see in the game later on, there is functionality that I actually had to program the game, and I used a function node to do just that. Here you can see I've set up some buttons, so like just this Hue button, the Hue intro, turns it to Spotlight Awards theme. If you look at the battle screen, I kind of just put colors that correspond to the Spotlight Award branding and theming that they've been doing. Let's see. So this is an interesting setup here. I'm not going to go deep into this, but I do want to talk about UDP communication. This is how we're actually communicating with the Arduinos. Basically, there's UDP and TCP. These are protocols for sending information over a network. And UDP just sends the information, doesn't care how it comes back. TCP says, send the information, and I want to get a response to know that you got it. This would be for more important actions. But something like FBS would be more UDP. Well, I don't want to get into it. It wouldn't always be UDP because you would want to verify things. Basically, if it's important, do TCP. If it's not important, do UDP. I am using UDP here when I should be using TCP, and I have just not updated it yet because it works fine. I haven't lost any packets, but the right way, if any programmers are watching, you will know that I'm doing something not quite right here by using UDP. But the basic gist here is that I have this verify devices button and this reset verification function. So basically, I'm saying spit out a payload of the word fail. And then these, you can see that those are connected to each one of these other functions here. And these functions say, if I get fail, then change the little ring here that's going to show up in a second to red. But if I get good, turn it to green. And then this same button says delay for 1 second. So there's a delay node. And basically, this is how you build out the logic for saying, send this reset verification to all of these nodes here, but then send the request. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, chat. I was not showing my screen. I was not showing my screen for quite a while. Apologies for that. Here are what I was talking about. So these will, you press the verify devices button. This function tells all of these to turn red and broken. And then a second later, it says send to a certain IP address on a certain port. And that's configurable within the Arduino. And then the code in the Arduino. I'm going to pull up the Arduino code because I'm talking about how everything is easy. So don't be scared away by this. This is a little bit more complex. Arduino is basically a little mini computer. You program it in a C style language. And the basic logic when it's listening for UDP messages is to say, if I receive a string, the word verify, let me get my face out of the way. If I receive a string called verify, then I'm going to do something. In this case, this code is controlling the moving characters back there. So it's going to set it to standby. And then it's going to say verification reply, good. So you remember in the nodes here where this logic here says if it's good, then turn green. So as long as it is receiving the data, it's going to send back good. So we're going to get fail right away. And then a second later, these should all be sending back good. So let's go ahead and try that right now. And yeah, you saw them turn like a red dot here and then a green dot. So we know that all of our devices are connected and working properly. You'll see that I have 4 devices currently hooked up. I have the RFID statues, that's the RFID machine over there. Relays, these relays control part of the show, which I have not described yet, and I will describe in just a moment. And then we have motor right and motor left. So these are the 2 things that are going to move the characters. Here I have some debug. This is just for me to test things out on the motors and the motors and the mag locks. And so I can reset everything. I can send the signal to turn one of them off at a time. And then these I can reset both of these characters. I can set them to standby. So this is Oh, and then specifically move, increase, and decrease. So I didn't know how many people were going to be on the stream today and how many would be actually chatting when we do this. So if not enough people are chatting and it's taking too long to make the characters go across, I can actually tell the Arduino every time you receive a move command, go a little further. And so that's the power of these debug statements and the fact that I put in all this extra logic just so that I can fix things on the fly as we are doing the presentation. All right, let's talk about change nodes. So we know switch nodes. If it contains something, then do something, or if any of these other rules do something, then do something. But a change node is going to be something very important. So let's go back to our test code over here. We're going to scroll up here to a change node. Let's disconnect our hello world. You just select the line and delete. I'm going to pipe that into message.payload, or into the change that it's currently called set message.payload. And here we can do a number of things. We can take in information like hello world because we're sending a payload of hello world, and we can change it to goodbye world. Oh, that's a little dark. Hey world. And then when we connect that back to the debug and deploy, instead of printing hello world, it's going to change that data to hey world. So it's very simple. It just says, and this is very simple, but you can do all kinds of different rules. You can delete stuff. You can, in the past, we've been putting just crazy amounts of data constantly through all of these. I can't talk because a lot of my experience with this is at Imagineering, and I can't talk about any of that at all. But we had a lot of data flowing through these using change nodes and switch nodes. So it's a really robust system that's very exciting to work with. All right, what else do we have in here? So we've learned about, so once again, here's a little bit scary spaghetti. Somebody mentioned spaghetti earlier, saying there was no spaghetti. Well, this certainly is some spaghetti here. We have learned about taking in UDP from a device. In this case, this is an Arduino. We've learned about taking in the chat from Twitch. We've learned about buttons, so this button is going to trigger the fight. We've learned about delays. We've learned a little bit about functions, in that functions can basically just do everything. We've learned about change nodes. We've learned about switch nodes. Let's learn about dashboard. Yes. So you see these blue nodes here. This particular node is called a chart. So you can make all types of different charts. And I wanted to show something kind of interesting. This was not made by me. So this is somebody who made a Raspberry Pi based moisture detector using Node Red. So you can see right here, they have this kind of half dome going up depending on the moisture. So they're taking the sensors, piping them through a Raspberry Pi directly into Node Red, and they're displaying that information visually. And that's a great use case, and we've done this for connecting to various things to give us status on things that would be harder to see otherwise. So here I have set up storm voters and fire voters. And I'm going to quickly go over the code here. It's one of those things I don't want to explain every line. But for those who are programmers, this is going to be more for you. The way that you get the variable data in Node-RED is a little bit weird. Is you have to do context.get and then get the variable that you want. And then you have that data in the form of a dictionary. A dictionary is a key value pair, so you'll have a name of the thing that you want to check against and some data for that. In this case, the name of the thing we want to check against is the username of the Twitch user. And the thing that it is holding, the data, is how many times they have voted for storm or fire. So the logic I'm just going to go through quickly because I don't want to make this a programming tutorial. If we do have input.channel, so if it is a Twitch input, we're going to get the message. Remember, input.reason, or rather Twitch chat package.reason is going to be the message from chat. Username is going to be, if you look on the right side of the screen, I open up this object and then this username object, and then that username object has a username. In this case, student filmmaker 2021, who said thanks so much. So we would get the input.username.username. And then if their message includes Storm, if their username has not been recorded yet, set up their username with a 1. If it has been recorded already, increase that number. And then we're going to set that variable, and then we're going to spit out data for output Storm. And then what I have highlighted here is connected directly to this pie chart. So what makes this really interesting is this is how we're going to keep track of who's going to win prizes. So if you look back at the battle scene, you're going to see 5 iconic buildings that are going to be trampled by our student artwork. It's a Godzilla-style battle, kaiju fighting all across Los Angeles and the hills of Hollywood. And the Twitch chat, when the fight begins, will be typing as fast as they can, fire or storm. And I just remembered I need to configure something. As I was testing last night, I forgot to update the Los Angeles Film School's Twitch settings to allow us to do multiple commands in a row. And apologies, I should have done this last night, but I totally
every Monday
forgot.
and every Wednesday.
One thing I don't like about Twitch is that it plays videos automatically. So if I'm just off the screen right now, I'm going to go to my settings real quick. My creator dashboard, community, stream, latency mode, disconnect protection, and sorry that I am doing this live, but otherwise you would not get to vote multiple times in a row if I did not set this up. Block hyperlinks, email verification rules. Streaming tools. Can somebody go ahead and test something for me? Actually, can you just type the word test twice in a row and see if Twitch lets you do that? We're going to do some collaborative debugging here. Oh, it looks like people are able to type the same thing in a row. Is that, are you, oh, it doesn't work, somebody said. Marco, do you happen to know, so on my channel I have it turned off, but I don't remember where the settings were that I managed to turn that off. Once again, apologies that we are debugging this live, but this is a good view into the life of a programmer. Is something will break and you'll be like, oh, well, how do I need to fix this? Let's see, you're looking at it should be followers list, content, settings, and if anybody in the chat knows, yeah, so somebody says there's a 30-second delay on that, which is definitely not going to work for what we're doing here. Let's see. Yeah, if anybody in the chat, I'm keeping an eye on the chat to see if anybody knows exactly the setting that I'm looking for. I'm kind of looking in the stream settings. We're probably looking for a chat cooldown of some sort.
Corey, I'm also, hi there. I'm also reaching out to another member of our team to see if he could help as well.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Oh, wait, cooldown period. Oh, no, that's a cooldown for people getting banned. Hopefully nobody gets banned from this. Yeah, I'm kind of right where I think it should be. Permitted terms and phrases. Automod rule sets. Just profanity. I wonder if I turn auto mod fully off. Please don't say anything bad. So can somebody test the if they can do things twice in a row again? Yeah, somebody's still saying nope. Ah, we're close though. I'm in the moderation section. I'm gonna turn on auto mod back on because that was not the setting we were looking for. Non-mod chat delay. No. Email verification, chat rules, followers only mode, moderator tools and chat. Ban chatters. Yeah, none of that is going to be... Let's do a Twitch. So I'm going to do a Google search live on a presentation. Apologies for this. Twitch disable chat cooldown. This is 90% of my job, Googling things. Ah! I see. Well, you know, when I was on my own channel, I thought I had it working, but now I'm reading that there is no way to turn that off. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Notice that the code for figuring out if... I really thought that I was sending commands faster than 30 seconds while I was testing on my own account, but clearly Reddit is saying that that is not the case. So you do notice that in the code for checking the game flow, where was that? The count chat function. I say if it includes storm. So you're not going to simply be able to spam the word storm. What I ask of you while you're doing the voting is to say storm 1, storm 2. The 1, the 2, anything else that you add to it is going to do nothing extra special except let you spam really quickly. As long as it contains the word storm or it contains the word fire. If you do both storm and fire, according to this code, it's going to count as a storm. So don't try to get clever sitting on the fence. Does everybody understand the mistake here and the limitation in that we can't spam the chat, but by adding extra characters to it, this logic will still work? And apologies for that. Spam the chat. Oh, I heard my own voice come back through. I think somebody had their speaker on. Yeah, so I see everybody doing storm 1, storm 2. Perfect. And hopefully as people are alternating that, then it's going to work out. Apologies for that. That's a little bit of an extra challenge, but maybe that makes it more interesting. So it's going to be less easy for people to just Control-V paste and make their favorite win too quickly. Well, with that said, I think we are just about ready to start the battle. The first contestants that we have, when I was going through, I don't have the names written down on these, unfortunately. And when I went through these, I thought I was picking one from each student, but I do believe I have one here that is 2 from the same student. And I only printed out 6 characters, and I only realized that these are from the same person too late. So I think it would be unfair for them to get 2 chances, but this is also going to be unfair because they are already going to be moving to the next round because I'm going to have the 2 of them compete against each other. I hope everybody's okay with that because I don't have extra ones printed out. I tried to do just one from each person who submitted, but hopefully this is the more fair of those 2 options. Instead of giving them 2 chances to win, they have to fight against themselves, but they will win in the first round. And that person's name is Dominic. So Dominic, if you're in the chat, what are these characters' names? I know this one's called Coin Boy, and this was Duck something. And hopefully Dominic answers while I go set this up on the board. All right. So I think Dominic said no idea, LOL. Is the way that I have the chat set up right now, it's difficult for me to see exactly the usernames. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, that was somebody else who said no idea, LOL. All right. Well, here we are. The first of the main events. You are going to vote. Reminder that it's going to be storm or fire, but you cannot type them because of Twitch chat limitations, the same message over and over again to prevent spam. And the prizes are going to work as follows. I mentioned the maglocks earlier. Each one of these buildings is going to fall after each battle. We have a total of 6 players, so we're going to have 5 rounds, the first 3, and then a semifinals round with somebody randomly will be getting a bye to move on to the next round. And then behind each one of these buildings is a set of prizes. The artist who reaches the center first based on the votes will win one of the prizes, and the person who voted the most for that will also win the same prize. So hopefully this works out. Let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to make sure both are reset. And press the fight button. Coin Boy versus Duck Robot. I see them moving from the chat. Duck Boy is in the lead. Duck Robot's looking good. He's getting there. It seems that Coin Boy has stopped. Oh, we have hit the center, more or less, the end of the linear rail. And the Capitol Records building has fallen down from the destruction. That is very unfortunate. Let's see what the prize is. So you will, let me get myself on the video. You will be receiving the t-shirt that I am wearing, a special edition Spotlight Awards version of my characters from Ice Escape. The school, I don't know who designed these. Please put it in the chat if you know who designed them. I love them. I'm super stoked about them. I've been wearing them. I got a bunch of them, so I've been wearing them multiple times a week. So I have this stop audio button. Just because that was a bit loud in future presentations. I already turned down the volume. There was no easy way to turn down the volume, so I actually re-rendered it at a lower volume. But that was still a bit loud. Hopefully that didn't blow out anybody's headphones. Oh, well, somebody says I designed them. But yeah, I mean, whoever designed the t-shirt, great job. I love the way you took the line work and put it in front of it. So the artist, Dominic, will be receiving this t-shirt. And that will be coordinated by presumably Cecilia. And then, Emily from marketing did the shirts. Thank you, Emily. I love this shirt. I was so stoked to receive them. And we need to figure out who voted the most in that round. And now whoa, yeah, somebody. This is interesting. So somebody voted a ton. Fry and Friend of Dot voted 14 times for Storm, but unfortunately Storm did not win. The person who voted the most was Scripted Fate with 18 on Fire. So Scripted Fate, coordinate with Cecilia, please. Send a whisper to the Los Angeles Film School account, and we will get you set up with your prize. If you guys remember earlier, I set up those pie charts. These are the pie charts. Right here, taking in that information. Yeah, we got a lot of votes. That was pretty cool. Let's get that off the screen. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing the screen. Here we go. There's the pie chart, and it looks really cool with all of these people voting. I wasn't sure how many people were going to be voting, and I'm really happy with this. Yeah, really cool. All right, so Duck Robot. Apologies if you typed the name, but I didn't see it. is moving on to the next round. Up next, we have these two characters who I don't know the names of off the top of my head. Can somebody in the chat help me out? We have a lion tail lady and a giant legged snail. I've been seeing this one on LinkedIn. Somebody's been posting that. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat. Lion tail. Yeah, we're seeing. I'm not seeing. Oh, Olivia. One of these is Olivia. I think this one's Olivia. There was a. It was signed down here where I cut it off, so I don't remember the name, but that sounds familiar. So I think Olivia made this one. Oh, at LivaJade100 made this one, and then how about the snail? Well, anyway, once we get the names in there, or while we get that, I'm gonna place these onto the battlefield. I actually would have voted for Coin Boy. That's one of my favorites. I love this design. I can say that openly because it's both from the same artist, so I'm not picking sides. All right, so I have this reset both button here. This is going to push both of them back into their starting points. And you notice that there was a smoke machine going. I wanted to show you just one extra little thing. I have this node that you haven't seen yet that's brown, and it has this kind of signal shape. This is not a Wi-Fi controlled device. This is an example of connecting through a COM port, like a USB port, to send data instead. So there's all kinds of ways you can send data. Most of these are sending through UDP over the network, but what if you didn't have a Arduino that had network capability? You can use a COM port, and it's super easy. But it is now time for the next battle. Timothy Joyce is the artist who created the snail creature. And does it have a name? I don't see a name in the chat. Oh, Sniglaskrimsly. I cannot pronounce that. Whatever that says is apparently the name. All right. Well, I hope everybody's ready because it's time for the second round. 3, 2, 1, fight! We have an early start from the snail monster. Neither are stopping though, so if this continues, the snail monster is probably going to make it. All right, it looks like the snail monster has made it there first, and the Ivar Theater is about to fall. Oh no, he didn't do enough damage. Well, the Ivar Theater, never mind, it fell. All right, congratulations to the snail monster. All right, well done. Get my screen back out. Congratulations, this thing is creepy. I would have probably picked the other one just because I don't want to keep seeing this one up here. It creeps me out. All right, well done. This is a great piece of art. I can't deny that. But, the prizes for this are twofold. Another t-shirt, just like the previous one. But you also get a toy designed by me. I'm going to turn off the music so you can hear me a little bit better. These are little miniature versions of a BattleBot, my first BattleBot that I made. I do little 1-pound robots. And I'll just show a little bit of that real quick. On my combat robotics page, a reminder that stegosaurus.com has a bunch of my different projects and tutorials on how to do things, and my YouTube channel called Stegosaurus. So this is Blade Haver. I do little 1 and 3 pound bots, and it's a lot of fun to kind of create these things only to have them get destroyed over the course of the day. I haven't done this in quite a while, and I want to get back into it, but it's an expensive thing, even at 1 pound for all the electronics and things that break. You want to keep them robust so they break as little as possible and not lose as much money. And this is Jawmouth, the character that you see here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not showing my screen. So this is Jawmouth. So this is kind of a toy version of that. And this was my first BattleBot. It wasn't very effective. It was all plastic and not very great at lifting things. It has not caught on fire. We did that with flash paper for the picture. And these are kind of this is Blade Haver that I was talking about. So these are the little 1 pound bots that I fight with in these little arenas. It's a lot of fun. And they actually do a fair amount of damage to each other. You see little chunks come off and pieces. Oh yeah, Azure Pyro actually asked, is this resin or 3D printed? It was actually originally 3D printed. Here is the 3D print. And then I molded it. And then, so I actually sanded this down and got it real nice and smooth because it'll pick up every detail of the lines when it's 3D printed. And then I cast it in resin. So you have nice solid pieces that can get made a lot faster. And these are actually the trophies for a project I did at work where I taught classes on how to create BattleBots, all with Arduino. All of these BattleBots that you're about to see are Arduino based. And I built a huge battle box that had moving platforms for people to drop their, yeah, he just flew into it. They could remote control the platforms to open and try to push the enemies in there and things like that. It was a lot of fun. And I had my own bot in there with a GoPro on it, so I could drive around and get all this footage. It was a lot of fun. And we had 16 teams that I taught how to make BattleBots. It was a series of classes, and then we had the big fight at the end, and it was a big hit. So I love BattleBots. I love doing all this with Arduino. My normal BattleBots are more specialized electronics, not Arduinos, but you can definitely make all kinds of stuff with Arduino. I cannot say enough good things about the software. So that was a tangent. That's the prize that 2 winners are winning. So let's see who voted the most. Oh, wow. Because there's so many people voting, these pie charts are getting pretty small. Who won? It was Storm. So Storm has Friend of Dot is 14. Scripted Fate just behind with 12. Azure Pyro with 9. Oh, I think that's the biggest slice. Friend of Dot, congratulations, you are winning a shirt and one of the BattleBot toys, Jawmouth. Congratulations. Thank you for voting. All right. So let's get on to the next round. I don't think I have anything to say in between those, so we're just going to get right to that. Up next are, I'm going to say Robot Witch and Lion Guy. Who are the artists who created these? These are very excellent. I don't have those written down. Allison Waldron is the witch. So we've got Allison and, well, say it in the chat. I'm going to set these up. I forgot to mention that each one of these prizes comes with a Stegosaurus sticker. So once again, all the winners coordinate with Celia, and I will also be sending stickers to everybody. So one of the things that I noticed in the last battle is that there's enough people chatting and voting that basically whoever starts first kind of wins. And I just didn't know how many people are going to be voting. So luckily, I have a way to change how far they move. So by pressing move decrease, it's going to decrease the value that they will move per vote. And we're going to try it with 1 on each, or 3 on each side. So hopefully each vote will move them a little bit less. And hopefully that'll allow for gameplay that actually stops and goes more instead of just having, and I think these never stopped in the last one. So that is unfortunately a little bit unfair for Olivia. Sorry, Olivia. But yeah, so it seemed like whoever just went first got it because they never stopped. So by decreasing the amount that they can move, hopefully that'll do more of a stop and go. And I'm going to do 1 more move decrease per side, just for good measure. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't anticipate how many people are going to be here. I think we have, how many viewers do we have? I don't see it, but it looks like a lot. But it is time to reset them. Ooh, if this pattern continues, we know what building is next to fall. My favorite of all of them. Okay, the 2 robots are in their positions. Oh, what has happened? Why are they moving? Stop. I don't know what happened. Oh, I think we may have found a bug in my code. I think the chat is already active to allow them to move, and maybe I didn't. No, that was not your fault, whoever just said that. That was my fault because I thought I wrote code in that says you can't move while we're not fighting, but apparently we can. So, hey, stop it. Now that's your fault. Yeah, so you will be typing storm or fire. Don't type both because only storm will work because of how the logic is set. So yeah, we're going to have to just have a rule that says don't start typing until after the 3, 2, 1. That is a flaw in my logic. And that's one of the things that's funny about programming is you don't discover a lot of things until it's at scale and everybody's typing. So don't start typing those words until after 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, we've got a little bit of more stop and go now. But it looks like the witch is coming out faster. Cat person is going a bit slower. Aha! Well done. I forgot the name. Robot witch is what I'm calling her. Oh, the school. The greatest landmark of them all. Congratulations. All right. The prize for this winner is an original Ice Escape Stegosaurus Rescue t-shirt. These are from 2013. I made them when the game originally came out. And those are yours as well as a Stegosaurus pin. So coordinate with Celia. I don't have any of the pins in front of me, unfortunately. But it's a little pin like at Disneyland or something. So Allison will be receiving the prize for that. But who voted the most? Let's take a look. Ooh, this is hard to read because it's getting small. And this is... Oh, wait. This looks to be... Oh, wait, yeah, look. That is different information. Did Fire win? Yeah, Fire won. Yeah, Yeah, so this is just kind of a coincidence that Friend of Dot happened to do it 14 again, and Scripted Fate happened to do it 12. But this is updated. I know this is different. So I think by a long shot, Scripted Fate. Scripted Fate, how did you vote for both? Uh-oh. Am I finding another bug here? I hope that we're not taking votes from the previous ones and assigning them to both. So Scripted Fate, do you feel like you did 32 votes here? Because otherwise I might not be resetting this properly. Apologies. I have apparently made mistakes that that may be hurting some people prize-wise. This one we did see that the lion stopped more. So that yeah, you don't think you did 32 votes, huh? So let's take a look at the code. This is a great opportunity to do a little more debugging really quickly. So the way that we do the reset is by setting the payloads to empty lists. But perhaps that is not working. So let's go ahead and test this. You'll see that I say if input equals reset. We're going to look for a node that connects to that. Aha! So this was not a programming error. This is a Corey doing a presentation error. I'm supposed to be hitting this reset button in between each one. Apologies if that messed up voting for people. Oh, sorry. I have the wrong screen. So here's this function. The code says if the input is reset, then send these two empty lists, and that's how it resets the pie charts. The programming is there to do it, but Corey doing the presentation, thinking about all these other things, forgot to press the reset button. So, tell you what, if you feel that you voted the most in any of these and got locked out of getting a prize for it, send me a whisper and I'll send you any one of the prizes that you'd like. I feel bad about that because that's totally my bad for forgetting to click reset. So now I click reset. All right, no votes. My bad. I noticed that like the numbers kept getting bigger and bigger. It's like more people were voting each time because it was being incremental. Well, we live and we learn, and that is programming. That is the life of a tech artist. So if you feel like you did not get a prize when you should have because of my mistake, shoot me a message. I'm happy to get you your prize. But we are now on to the semifinals with 3 characters: Snail Monster, Witch Robot, and not Coin Boy, but Duck. So because we only have 3, or we have 3 for this right now, and we only have 5 buildings, one of these characters is going to get a bye, which means they don't have to compete in this round. And I'm going to make the decision that Duck, because they had an advantage earlier, will not get to have the bye because they had that advantage. So we need to figure out between these two who is not going, or who is going to get a bye. So let's open up. Let's open it up to the chat. I'm going to just manually count. Type snail or witch, and then I'm going to, whoever gets to 10 first is going to get the bye. So snail or witch, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, whoa. I see a lot of witch. Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot of people chatting. Let's see. So we got snail 1, witch 1, 2, 3. Snail is at 3, witch is at 4, snail 4, witch 5, witch 6, snail 5, witch 7, witch 8, witch 9, snail 6, witch 10. So witch is getting the bye, and we'll move on to the finals. So the next round is going to be snail and robot duck. Let's get them set up. Now, I did see someone in the chat mention that Storm is harder to type than Fire. And to kind of even that out, I will remind you that you can copy paste, and that should help even out the playing field. So hopefully Fire doesn't get more votes than Storm on account of just being easier to type. So you can just copy Fire and paste it in, or copy Storm and paste it. All right. So I'm going to click reset. And once again, do not type until the 3, 2, 1 is over. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, fight! Alright, Snail is getting an early lead. Duck is not moving quite as much. I see a couple stops. Snail is not stopped yet. Oh! No! What happened? No! It has not finished, has it? Something seems to have gone wrong. All right, well, let's go ahead and look at who's further. That may be another bug. Apologies once again. The life of a tech artist. Right. So they did not quite make it to the end. It seems like one of the switches for the end triggered early when the smoke machine went off. But Snail was further, so they are moving on to the finals to fight the Robot Witch. The prizes for this round is a Los Angeles Film School mug, as well as a toy for each winner. Is a character I make called Lava Leviathan, another 3D printed and then made in resin toy, just like my robot. All right. So I want to make sure that we need to do the winner. Yes. So the winner was Fire with 11. It looks like the winner is Unaided Druid 07 with 11 votes. Congratulations. Did we find another bug? 11 plus 9 is 20, 24, 30, 10, 21, 26. 33. Oh, if my count is right, 41. Storm actually should have won. I'm afraid something wrong has happened with the amount that they move. This is a little bit embarrassing that we found yet another bug that may affect the actual competition. Let's take a look at movement. So here are my test movements. I'm going to press move on Fire. Oh, let me reset both. And I'll hit set standby on each one. So this is a good example of debugging. Yeah, so what may have happened is I believe that one of the motors is moving more per vote despite me pressing move decrease the same number of times. And if that's the case, I think it has messed up the tournament. I really apologize for that. Let's do a move action on motor left. I gotta start the fight. So we're gonna do a little debugging here. We're gonna hit fight. I'm gonna stop the audio. So what we're gonna test is I'm gonna do a move of the right one. Move of the... we've got some interesting stuff happening here. Oh, neither was reset properly. And now we're going to click the move debug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no. Does move decrease here? Match. Oh no. No, not Griffith Park. I did not mean to accidentally trigger that. So, unfortunately, some kind of bug has appeared, and that's why Fire was winning. And I'm so sorry about that if that has messed somebody up as far as the tournament goes. So message me, I will make it up to you with a prize. So what we're going to do is reset the whole system. So check this out. All right, so this has been an interesting presentation in you're seeing a lot like how my day-to-day work goes as a technical artist. Things break, you find out only at scale, and usually it doesn't happen in front of a live audience. So I have reset everything so it's back to fair again, but I'm just going to send all of the artists a prize for my messing up on things. Who knows if the tournament would have been different if we didn't have these bugs. So apologies for that. Each one of you is going to get a prize from me, but we're going to finish this off with the final round. Robot Witch versus the Creepy Snail. All right, so the system is reset. It's back to the original numbers. It seems like perhaps one of the UDP messages didn't get through to slow down one of those motors, and that's why we had some unfairness there. Once again, apologies for that, and I will make it up to the artists. But now everything is fair. We have our finals, the witch versus the snail. This is the last and final battle. I'm going to reset both. And we're going to start the fight in 3, 2, 1. All right, Witch has an early lead. Snail doesn't seem to be moving at all yet. Oh, there we go. Snail is moving. Smoke is coming out as they start their battle in front of the Hollywood sign. Snail's a bit behind. It looks like Witch is going to make it to the end. I see another stop. And once again, Witch takes the final battle for the win. Who's the name of the artist? Allison, I believe? Well done. Congratulations, Allison, the winner of the Node Red Chat Battle. Have won this Los Angeles Film School Spotlight Awards hat, official branded hat. This one I get to keep, but you will be receiving one yourself. Well done, everybody. Thank you for that. We got to figure out who voted the most, and the fire votes Oh, guys, I didn't reset it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I made that mistake. According to this, the fire vote was unaided Druid 07, but I think it may have had votes from the previous round. So, the moral of the story is mistakes happen, and that is part of the job. But I hope that everybody has enjoyed the presentation and learned something. Whether you know things about Arduino or just are interested in hooking up, say, an Alexa to your Hue lights with no programming at all, this Node Red can do so many amazing things. And it has changed my life as far as how I create projects. And it just allows me to do whatever I want in the easiest way possible, but with a lot of extra power. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm really stoked about how many people we had voting, and we certainly had a lot of people to test the system, and that is exactly how that works. If you guys are interested in more of this type of content, check out stegosaurus.com. It has some tutorials, but other things are just kind of work logs of my work and how I create things without necessarily being a tutorial. And there's also the YouTube channel, Stegosaurus. You can probably just find that by clicking on any of the videos in these links here. Celia, do you want to say anything to call us out, to end this out?
Yes, I was going to jump on right now. I was letting you do your thing. I just want to personally, from the entire events and marketing team, we want to, and the animation team as well, thank you so much for creating this event, sharing your work, your art. You're truly an inspiration, and of course, thank you for your time. We know it wasn't easy to put this together, and it looks like everyone was having such a great time. So thank you so much, Corey. We want to invite also everyone who's here to check out our other events that are happening throughout the rest of the day, but especially tomorrow. You've got to come and find out a little more about Corey, and you'll get to see that during our Spotlight ceremony. So please come and join us, send some shout outs, anything. Again, thank you so much, Corey, for your time. This was so much fun.
No
I believe we're going to record this and post this later in Connect. And I think you'll be able to also see it in our YouTube stream. So if you missed it or know anybody who missed it and wanted to watch it again or watch it, just send them there. Thank you again, Corey, so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this, and thank you all the artists for participating. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.